I am joined right now by Husker legend, and at this moment, maybe more important, McCook legend, Jeff Kinney. Jeff, thank you so much for giving me a few minutes today.
Well, it's my pleasure. I was really looking forward to making this trip and coming back to McCook.
Tell us a little bit about why you're here, and then get into like the whole group that's here. We got a whole game of the century reunion going on.
Can I come back next week and tell you why I'm here?
Oh, I see.
Well, it ended up kind of being a nostalgic thing. A couple of guys that were younger than I was when we played here went to Oklahoma. So we kept talking over the years about how much fun it would be just to go back. And because everybody remembers their high school years and how much fun they were. And then you got to go off and grow up. So anyhow, this was our chance not to be a grown-up anymore.
There you
come
go.
back and just kind of see what things were like.
That's awesome. And then as we're taping this on Friday, the McCook grads, including yourself, will be at the game tonight, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And going to get showered with praise from everybody in attendance.
You know, I don't know what to expect tonight. It may be a lynching or it may be something else. I don't know. So I'm flying by, the seat of my pants right now. I'm trusting a couple Oklahoma guys right now to make sure this thing happens.
There you go.
Yeah.
Are you fully confident in their ability?
No, I'm not. Because all they're doing is complaining about they can't believe they got beat.
That's right. Game of the century, 1971. Let me see if I got my numbers right. 171 yards on the ground in the game, 151 of those in the second half.
I guess that's it. I've been told we had a better second half than we did the first half.
And what do you take from that one game? Obviously, your career is much bigger than that. Played for the Chiefs, first-round draft pick, spent some time with the Buffalo Bills. But what do you take from that one game?
Well, actually, it was kind of like it was the build-up. I mean, the build-up started probably 3 or 4 games before that week. And because Oklahoma was beating people by large scores and we were just kind of plodding along ourselves. But that whole thing was just built up. And I can remember when we went to Norman, we actually took all our own food because they were worried about some gambling trying to poison our food or do something. So we took our own food. But the buildup was so great that a lot of us were even nervous before the game. And so it kind of got to the point where we weren't really playing that well the first half. And it's just like, hey, this is our season. We got to go out and make this happen in the second half. So it was just a bunch of guys who played well together that season. And really the effects of the teamwork that we had and the players that we had, we were national champions.
And I was listening to you fellas talk over lunch here before we started taping, and just talking about how that game so many times decided a national championship. You were talking about the bowl games and just all blowouts. I mean, it was almost easy pickings by comparison to playing Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, my senior year, the Big 8 at the time, and that's when they used to do a ranking at the end of the season, then one after the bowl season. And after the bowl season, it was Nebraska number 1, Oklahoma was number 2, and Colorado was number 3. So we had the top 3 teams were Big 8 schools at the time. So
that's amazing, and that's different than say an SEC or a Big Ten now, which has 14 or 18 teams. Yeah. This is literally 8 teams.
Almost half the teams. Yeah,
that's amazing. That's fantastic. What are you up to now?
Well, actually, I'm still working, and I'm doing that so my mind will stay sharp. But I love doing that, and I love to golf, I love to fish, I love to hunt. So, and I just bought a farm here about a year ago, not a big one, but my son lives out there and built a big chicken coop. I got chickens now, and we're trying to clear out some areas to grow stuff too.
That's awesome.
I don't know what I'm doing, but that's what we're doing. So
that's fantastic. That's the Nebraskan in you, right?
I guess it is. Yeah, I've always wanted to play in the dirt. I guess I don't know.
Nice. 77. When I was Bob Devaney, head coach, Tom Osborne on the staff. What did those 2 men, maybe individually or together, mean for you, not just as a player, but where you're at today?
Well, Tom actually recruited me. So over the years, we used to do speaking engagements together, and I finally got smart enough where I would say, okay, I'll be there, but if Coach Osborne's going to be there, I get to speak last. Because he was always the one telling the stories, and he never could rebuff him until if you were going last. So anyhow, Tom was just a real honest, principled guy. Manny had just turned over the offense to Tom, and we started running the spread formation, which was our passing formation, and Tom was kind of the architect behind all of that. So both of them great coaches in different ways, but both great coaches.
And then you were a first-round pick with the Chiefs, is that
Yes,
right?
correct.
Tell us about that. I mean, obviously, the 2024 Chiefs are undefeated and on a roll as we tape this, but your first-round pick, you don't get a lot of those.
You guys got all my good stories coming up. It's funny because we were actually at the White House the day of the draft. And the draft back then was you just got a phone call. It wasn't like the big production you see now. And so, like, we're at the White House and we're doing a press conference after we had visited with the president and did a few other things. And we came out and somebody handed me a slip and said that you've been drafted in the first round by Kansas City. So give Coach Stram a call when you get done. So anyhow, I called my wife at the time, and she said with Coach Stram had called the house and said, "Can we speak with Jeff, the secretary?" And she goes, "Well, he's not here right now." And I said, "Well, how do we get a hold of him?" She said, "Call the president." I said, "What's the number?" She said, "Call the White House." And so it's kind of like that was my story on draft day, as Coach Stram's trying to call the White House to get a hold of him.
That's wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so now I'm just going to pick on a little bit of that story. So you're a kid, go to McCook High School, and now you're at the White House. I mean, I'm skipping a lot there to get you there. But would you have ever imagined going here in McCook, Nebraska, fantastic town, by the way, great high school, but that you'd be in the White House, meeting the President of the United States?
Well, it'd be something you never think about until you've already been through it and gone through it. But I always loved playing football so much that you never realized what level you were at. You just enjoyed it. You played as hard as you could, and if it took you to a different level, then that's where you got. But it was always something I've always enjoyed, was competing. So.
That's fantastic. Do you have any thoughts on the current Husker squad?
I do, but I'll keep them to myself.
Oh, no!
No, I'm just kidding. There is a breath of fresh air a little bit, that there might be some hope, but we got to quit making mistakes. I mean, we still do the same dumb things. It's just like, and that's on the players. That's on the players. And so until they get that cleaned up and get a little better at trying to dominate and get a running game, then it's going to be a hard season for them. So
They need you to suit up again, or?
no, I don't. I just had a new knee put in, so I don't want to damage that one.
Oh my goodness! Anything else? Yeah, I mean, I was told you'd be here, which is fantastic, and then I find out you got all this Husker and Sooner legends from the '70s out here. It's just really cool that you guys become friends and have stayed so close to each other like you have.
Well, it's been several years ago when they started doing like anniversaries of that two teams. One of the first ones they did was they brought us to Norman, Oklahoma. As many guys as could make it from the Nebraska team, and we actually sat and had dinner with a lot of the Oklahoma players. And so it was so much fun because I went and sat with all the Oklahoma players. I didn't want to sit with my own guys because I wanted to talk to them.
Okay.
And so it was kind of funny getting their perspective and how you see things and how they see things. But over the years, there was a guy who became a good friend of mine, Jerry Pettibone, and Jerry actually, became a good friend, and he became a head coach someplace, and he asked me to come be on his staff, and so I went to Northern Illinois for a couple of years and coached with him. So
Nice. How was that?
it was fun. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it was at a point in my life, from I guess my family's life, where I wanted to watch my own sons play. And back then, that's when you had to be gone recruiting all the time. You had to be at every football game. And so I just didn't want to make that sacrifice. And it's a tough life, In a lot of families, you go through a lot, make a lot of sacrifices for that. So.
Did I hear correctly that your grandson's a national champion?
Well, he played at LSU.
Okay.
I didn't play, but he was a backup quarterback. And he used to signal in the plays, but it was just talking about how Ron Hall had an event where he asked Joe Burrows to come be part of it. And this was after his college career was over with. He paid him a large sum of money to come be at this event. So he puts Joe on the phone, and I'm talking to Joe Burrows, and we're talking a little bit, and I said, when we got done talking, I go, Joe, I just want to thank you for making my grandson a national champion. I mean, like they got like 3 different rings, much different than it used to be,
Right.
But they had it was kind of neat.
So maybe not so bad he didn't end up going to Nebraska then?
Well, yeah, I mean, what was good about it is kind of like they were at the White House, and my grandson Walker is sending me pictures of being in the White House. Kind of remind me of ours and stuff too. So,
That's a neat connection.
yeah, it was.
That is really
And we
neat.
talk about it all the time. So
That's awesome. Well, I will let you get back to your
thank
exciting
you.
weekend you've got coming up.
Well, we're just getting started, I think. I don't know. So,
thank you.
Well, thank you.
And
thank you.
I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
And go Big Red.
Go Bison. Go Bison.
Go Bison. There you go.
Thank you.